All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to the podcast. This is the Durumi Super League 5.2 podcast. On today's episode, we will tell you all what went down on match day 5, where every team played 20 matches. And finally, we have Goshen White Tigers as the new champions of the Durumi Super League 5.2. This is the very first time second time they are playing, and the first time they became champions. We want to congratulate them for what they did. But I'm not alone in the studios. I have actors of the day. I have, let me start from the champion. That is Tobi. He is the team manager of Goshen White Tigers. So Tobi, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Let me introduce him properly to you guys. He is, let me start from the Goshen White Tigers. He is the team manager of Goshen White Tigers. They made their second entrance in 5.2. Before then, he played for Allen Foxes as the captain. And the next episode, 5.1, decided to gain freedom from his apprenticeship. He now went to establish his own Goshen White Tigers. That one, they came fourth or third.
I think it was fourth.
Yeah,
fourth.
They came fourth. It was a very bad baptism of fire for them.
Yeah.
But the next episode, they came like some wounded lions. Some wounded tigers. Let me not forget.
Yeah.
And they were struggling from the bottom, third, fourth, second. They never came second, right?
Never even came third.
It was fourth and fifth. And boom! Finally, they won the tournament on match day 5. We'll talk about that when the show continues, starts properly. Also, he is one of the directors at Goshul's FC, a football club in Abuja, based in Abuja, that is also doing big things in the land, taking players to Europe and also playing in the NLO, the Nigerian League. And Mr. Tobi, welcome to the show. And finally, he is the host of the famous The Casual Experience MMA podcast, the biggest MMA podcast in the whole of Africa.
Yeah.
So we have a big fish with us this morning. Welcome, Tobi.
Thank you.
And co-hosting with him or another guest in the studios is Mr. Chinedu Anyebu. This was his first time. He was here the last time, right?
Yes.
He was our champion. Oh, he's about to say this guy was our champion. We used to say defending champion, former champion, but now we stick to former champion.
Yeah.
Durumi Super League. He was the 4.2 winner, 5.1 winner, and the 5.2 runners-up. It was by a point difference that the Goshen White Tigers took it from him.
Yeah.
It was really an interesting final we had. So I start from Edu. I say thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How does it feel being second position after being first on match day 1, match day 2, and match day 4? The only time we were not on top was on match day 3.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think it's normal because I think we gave our best and we lost to the best team in the tournament. Yeah.
But you were not scared of Goshen White Tigers from the beginning.
I was never
scared.
They
didn't have the muscle to pull the team down.
I was never scared, and I kept thinking, where did these guys get this energy from the last week? But they also went ahead to defeat us the last week 5.
Yeah.
We played you guys, and you got a goal against us. I think that's the decider.
Was it the first time they defeated you?
No, the other one was
The penalty.
with a penalty. So I felt
Two penalties.
One.
Or one. The one Habib handled the ball.
Yeah.
yes.
The one you scored, I went to lift your wife in the stands.
Yes.
So
Okay. During the podcast and previous editions, I have been I never mentioned people's name. My 2 top teams at some point were Edu Wolves and Sparrows because of how they were coming. I never thought you guys had the power because I felt your players never came to the party, especially Mike and Andy. We know what Andy represented or what he represents, and also Mike. But then you had Dogo in the middle. These guys never turned up. So it took me after week 1 week 2, week 3, they never showed up. I felt they would never show up, so I didn't count you guys. It was Allen that mentioned you guys on March the 3. He said the team he's scared of is Goshen White Tigers. Yeah. And I was just saying, he's just talking. So now you're the Goshen White, you're the new champions of the Super League. The feeling, how do you feel?
Well, it's surreal. Like, it's not done on us well yet. Maybe by the time you're handing over your trophy, you'll be like, so we actually won this.
You did.
But before I forget, the organizers of the tournament didn't give us our medals. So
you got yourself one.
Yes.
You deserve a medal, actually.
And I think going forward, we should have medals where winners of 5.2, you would always collect the trophy back.
Yes,
but this medal remains.
Your
the medals
should be
will always be with
you
us.
You really deserve a medal.
Yeah, so
this what will.
So
it's a fun time to be a champion. Yeah. I want to try to be humble. I don't.
You can't be humble as a champion.
It's such a sweet feeling. And kudos to the players. Kudos to my captain Mike, because he knew that if he didn't turn up, for all his experience in international football, all his know-how in football, like we expected him to turn up. Like most of us don't. We just love playing football, not like we know how to. Me for one, I don't know. I played in attack. I don't know how to attack. The defend I defend is.
And he got so many goals.
Yeah,
I think the highest goal ancestor, right?
He won. But I wanted to ask before asking about the goals you scored.
Yes.
March day 5 was the day you had the highest number of points.
Yes.
That was 10 points.
Yeah.
And nobody had exceeded 10 points before that day.
Yeah.
10 points was like the hallmark of games.
Basi got it in week 2.
Yes, Edu Wolves got on week 1. It was the height.
Yes.
Basi came from 0 point to 10 points. It was the height.
Yes.
And if you got 10 points, definitely you'll be the king of the week. Your team manager will be the team manager of the week, because nobody would have outdone you. Yeah. Well, your first match you played against on that day, Basi Sparrows, you won them. You
won them 1-0.
Defeated Edu Wolves.
Edu Wolves 1-0.
Yeah. Now beat Basi.
We drew against Soso
and beat Allen Foxes.
Yes.
I'm trying to imagine. How did the game plan change? You say you wouldn't tell us your plan before the tournament is over. How did you make Mike, Andy, and Dogo come to the party?
First of all, we have to give glory to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
For real.
Before every match, weekday, we always pray. It's a deciding factor, but I just want to make these points because it made a difference. But when we had a meeting after our podcast on Thursday, we had a meeting. I am sure you saw us having our video meetings, and I was talking to the players. Everyone was sharing their points, and I just made mention to Beatrice that this last match day, whatever it is, just let's make sure that every match, before every match, let's say a word of prayer. Normally, it's the beginning of the match day. That's our first match that we just pray. And, because of the tension and everything of the match, you want to, but it probably just keeps your mind. But every match day, before every match, that match day 5, we held hands. And I noticed that when we marched onto the field, there was a sense of we are not going to lose. Like there was a
victory already.
Yes, personally, from where I felt, the way the players were marching. So it's a real thing when players come together and you see them chant, and the prayer was just our chant that day. And then the players gave their all. I don't know what came over them. And when we were in the meeting there after the game, and we're talking about it, Ekong made a singular sentence and points that resonated with me. He said, regardless of everything, the constellation, the universe just accepted us winning that day. Because if not, Edu had Soso in his purview. Yeah. Knowing how determined his team is. Yeah. I know Soso is a determined team too, but knowing how determined his team is, they could have just nicked the goal there, and that would have been it.
You know, before the match, they were 2 points ahead of. You were 2 points ahead of. Oh no, you were 22 points. They were 19 points.
Yes.
3 points ahead of you guys.
Yes.
Right. So
We were on 20 points.
20.
They were on 22.
22.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 points.
2 points.
2 points. 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
22. 2 points. It took you 10 points. When you beat them when you beat they on top, they were still on top.
Yes.
You beat Sparrows, they were still on top.
Yes.
You beat Foxes. It was still in their hands.
Yes.
They were to play Social Lions.
Yes.
It was still in their hands to win.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think the universe destined, and the universe might have given it to you, but you also worked hard to make it
I
happen.
agree
If
with
those
you.
guys
Yeah.
did not turn up, it would have been dangerous for you.
When I got to the field that day, it was my wife's birthday on that day,
Sure,
16th.
sure,
Like, we sang happy birthday to her. And when I came to the field that day, the first sentence that came out of my captain's mouth was, 2 of my players are having a birthday today. I'm like, really? Today's my wife's birthday.
Yeah.
So
I'm just like, guys, we are winning this thing. And the points that Edu had, he had 7 points that day. There are points that normally, if you were top of the table,
Yes.
it's
7
enough.
points.
It's enough to get you the trophy
Yeah.
or to get you the win that day.
Yes.
So there was no other point that would have given us victory, if not 10 or more.
it was just 10.
10, just 10, because
it has
nine
to
would
be
have-
10.
Because if you had won 7, you were on
Yes.
22. If you had
Yes.
won 7, so it wasn't still
Even
enough.
if you get 9, we'll still get a draw. So you needed the 10.
So congratulations for that. Now,
Yeah,
Edu, we
congrats.
saw your team. You had a lot of internal wranglings before the final day, and I thought I was with you on Friday night. I didn't know you had a game plan. You kept telling me measures you will effect in your team, like the players that were heady, stubborn, not listening to you.
Yeah.
On March the 4th, he was punished. On March the 5th, I just saw you spring up him from nowhere and came up and played. And if not for anything, that guy he actually played his best game
That was his best game.
that day. How did you resort to fielding him again?
I just realized when you have someone who you think has erred, you don't need to overflog it. We played that fourth week without him. I needed him, but somehow you just have to, try to explain to the guys that this is what we need, despite your quality. The 5th week, I'm not sure he expected to play because he didn't come with his main
Kit,
boot.
yeah, okay.
So after the first game, he had to go and get...
Was he dressed?
Was dressed. And again, that's one of my a sign, indicator that he wants to play for the team. Another player could just decide not to come at all.
Yes.
Stay back or come and hang by the side and just watch you guys struggle. So he's still, he showed that he's part of the team. And we don't have any other option than to accept him back.
But you don't have any pep talk with him before the game?
No.
Not at all.
Sometimes you don't need to talk to people.
But did he approach you?
No, but like I said, coming and staying with the team, even when you're not, being featured, your quality, you should be there playing, and you are kept at the bench. Always showing up, coming for trainings, being with the guys shows you're really determined to be part of the team, and that's enough for me.
Would you not say you are part of him?
Yes, I am. I told him after the first game. I told him, and he also acknowledged that he liked his performance the last week. Yeah. In fact, he said he would have done better the previous weeks. So I think if given the opportunity, with what I've seen, I would still want to have him again. Yeah.
Well, it's congratulations to you for turning up, even though the ties were against you. You came up to the party, and even though jollof rice was not for you. Back to the people that gave us the jollof rice party on that day. Tobi,
I didn't eat any. You didn't give your.
It was for the winning team and team owners' wives.
Okay,
The
that's
wives
fine.
had.
Okay.
Okay, you turned out to becoming a very lethal striker with 4 goals. Your history used to be a defender, a very rugged, determined defender that cleared everything.
Yeah.
You jumped like a kid that didn't know. Kids take risks a lot.
Yeah.
They don't know if falling could make them injured.
Yeah.
That's how you played your defense. But last tournament, it's not 5.2 now. As it was in 5.1.
Yeah.
You decided that next time you go up front.
Yeah.
We thought it was a joke. But before then, in the trainings, you always score some goals. There was a day I was playing my team. I had the trainings. I have Vicent and one other guy. They were flat-footed. The way you sprang up, headed the ball across Vicent. Somebody gave you the ball and you scored. I was saying, if anybody could do this, it shouldn't be Tobi. That was my anger.
Yeah.
I said it clearly. I said, how could Tobi outjump you and connect and pass to his man
Yeah.
and outsmart you guys and score? I was just angry with them. But finally, it showed me it was not a fluke. It was something you could do. In 5.2, we saw you score 4 goals. You're not the youngest on the pitch, but you made the young people, you belittled their glory. Namaye is a prolific goal scorer. Super League, he is one of the highest goal scorers ever.
Yeah.
Lion also has done that. But now you dwarfed their records. You ended up as the top goal scorer in 5.2.
Yeah.
Where did you find your boots?
Well, I feel in life, personally, I just always want new challenges. And if it's defending, I know how to defend. I might not be the best defender. I've always been defending. And I just felt like being on this pitch, the younger players, they've given resonance to the ones they call senior men. They, regardless of how the senior men play, regardless of whatever they do, they don't bother.
Yes,
they don't bother to complain to you. So I was like, why don't I just try a new challenge? Why don't I just go up top and start striking? That was before the tournament. One thing I feel every defender there underestimated was my resilience. Like, if there is one thing everyone knows I will do, I'm going to pursue the ball outside the train. I'm going to keep running around and looking for scraps to feed on. And that's what I kept doing. Well, and when you do that, chances will always come by. It's now left to you. It's left to me to make use of the chance. Like, in this tournament, I can say that I'm the one that had the most chances.
Yes, you had. Especially on the final day.
Yes. If Edu or Lion had half of the chances I had on every match day and even on the final day, they would have converted most. So it shows my non-striking acumen. But at the same time, what I would always give myself is I would always run after the ball. I would always chase the ball. I will make sure that I'm leading from front. So even when they see me running in front, like, then you are in the midfield or at the back, what are you going to be doing? You have to run. You have to move too. Yeah. So that was just it for me.
But there was a goal you scored. That goal still remains one of the most unbelievable goals of the tournament. It was against I'm forgetting the team now.
It's Soso Lions.
Soso Lions.
Yes.
Where you watching the goal, the way you leapt, landed, like somersaulted. It was as if Oliveira was trying to do a bicycle kick.
Yeah.
Like, you watch it again.
Yes.
You watch that scene again.
Yeah.
You saw yourself land.
Yeah.
Did you think it was you that did that?
That is where, I don't always understand when strikers say striker instincts. I'm always like, which instincts? Me, I will kick you and your instincts. I will kick you and your instincts come out. But it's a real thing. Mm-hmm. The striker instinct is a new thing where you just react to it. I feel that's the beginning of me developing what they call the striker instinct, because I didn't even see the ball. And checking the replay, I realized that even my teammates, it wasn't as if he crossed. It wasn't a cross. It was like a short come cross that just came to me, and I didn't see it. I didn't know. I just knew I leapt. The only thing I heard was goal. And when I heard goal, I knew I scored. That's why you see I couldn't jubilate. I just saw Mike, my captain, running towards me, and all I could do was just chest bump him. Before I realized, I scored. Then
But you slapped. Why was you slapped Alfred on that?
That was when the realization of a goal dawned on me that I scored. If you heard me shout "Go ball!" That was when I knew I scored.
It looked as if you point him. Was that on purpose?
No, it was a Big Show. The Big Show, the wrestler. It was his fist pump. I smacked him on his chest. but he can handle it.
Which he did. Edu, so you came second, and it was really something you should be proud of because of the manner you lost it. It was a very tight contest. Look at the table, 30 points. Goshen White Tigers 29. The other teams were 24, 23, 22. It was just you guys were on top of the pie. Yeah. What would you have done differently if given another chance with the same team?
I don't think there is, except trying to manage the internal conflict, because I think somehow it affected us, appeared to affect us, of course, since we didn't get there. But aside that, I think every other thing is fine. The guys played well, quality, commitment, I think it's just that third week. Yeah, I think that was the week I got
you
1 point.
1 point.
Oh, my God. If I have any,
yes, 1 point. The transfer season, the transfer day.
Oh,
yeah.
1 point he got, but he already got 15 points. It was 16. That point gave him 16 points.
Do you think that was the deciding factor?
No,
because I was thinking
I think
it was
that's
the loss to me in the final week that really, really turned the tables.
The final week for me.
The final day when we won them 1-0. If we had drawn,
yes.
If like it wasn't even in their hands, it's in their hands.
Yes. Well, that's true, but I mean, there is nothing I could have done there. We tried our best. I mean, you guys managed us well because I know we came firing at you guys. You were able to hold us back.
Who scored that goal for you?
It was Andy.
I didn't even see the
game. It was own goal, but it was Andy's.
Okay, the free kick.
Yes.
The keeper brought out again.
Defender brought out, but the keeper.
It ricocheted on the goalkeeper.
On the goalkeeper, yes.
I said whenever we have a podcast together, I was going to ask you a question. Because looking from outside, every one of us, we say, Allen, he has the flair players. How do you pick your players? Because all your players look like wrestlers. Even you. Don't you notice them from outside? Looking at Vincent, see Habib, see Outa.
Well, Ephraim is the only player that looks flamboyant.
Even Ephraim, I called him, I'm like, guys, do you take drug? Do you see how that guy runs? Like,
you don't see them. You don't see them playing. You don't know. You don't see them. You just know that people are working.
Yes. Like Bolton Wanderers.
What are they doing? You don't see what they're doing until result comes. But it's true. Yeah. The question is asking you.
How do you pick your players?
No, I tried to look at guys that would want to play to instruction. I think that's the main thing for me.
Physically imposing isn't part of your...
Not physical, just to instruction. For each department, you're meant to know what is expected of you. Like I told Walid when I got him in, he's a very good player. We all know about his skills and what he can bring to the game. But I told him that is not exactly what this team needs from you. So we are going to change that a little bit, right? Because Walid has this ability to come to the defense, pick up the ball, move, and, either score or do a lot of things with the ball. So, but we needed him to connect to a lot of guys. So you don't have to be the same guy that goes to pick the ball. And we want everybody to move. One thing you also notice that those who, like Ephraim, you say is not physical, and he doesn't run so much. But when he sees others doing it, he knows the game plan. Of course, he just has to key in. That's what always get to happen. I've never had a fantastic team.
Given an option, you always pick Habib over Willie. If they give you Willie and Habib 10 times.
I'll pick Habib 10 times.
Why do you want to pick Habib over Willie?
Because Willie is a defender. I mean, he's a midfielder, an attacker. I think Habib will give me much more than that. First is, it depends on the team manager. One would say, I'd rather choose someone who is an attacker that would always give me a goal. No matter how I concede, I probably will outscore those who are scoring me. That makes me a champion. One will also say, I'd rather choose a defender, a solid midfield, who would always hold off attackers, right? And we hope to get one goal. It's just about style. I prefer Habib, and 10 times I'll take Habib.
Okay, back to the question the question that might turn the tables upside down now. You didn't have any big decision go against you in 5.2. Your team was never in the place where the referee had to consult the VAR or pause the game to check. But your team was always in that place. What's your assessment of refereeing in 5.2?
Well, the referees, kudos to them. They are doing a marvelous job, and I can only imagine the pressure they go through. Giving Ambassador Chukwuemeka. I can only imagine the pressure he goes through, and there's no how in those kind of pressure moments that emotions, even they themselves, emotions, they don't go through emotions. CJ has the work of trying not to be biased as a former captain that has won it against with Edu Wolves when it's blowing, and we too from our own part too, we have the work of not seeing any decision he blows as him being biased against us. So we had a couple of decisions we could have disputed. Like there was a ball I nodded and it was an obvious handball, but maybe because we were not
vocal enough,
persistent enough about. Well, all in all, we can only get better, and the referees, the players all together, everything just cooks the whole thing to be a good recipe.
Do you want to talk about the day you shouted at Chukwuemeka? You held the game to ransom.
Yeah, that was an off point and off day for me. You see what we're saying about pressure moments. I was just like, at that moment I was thinking decisions were not going our side, our way, and I understood going back to it. I understood that like he could see what all decisions. It's not the first time he's staying there, but at that moment I was like, you can't see what's going on from that angle, and maybe the way I approached it was wrong from my own part.
You got the card. I insisted the card. They should flash you that card.
Yes.
But what you did that, and after that thing, decisions were going against you.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was seeing them, but I just wanted to come in, but I was asked not to interfere. But somehow, he paid off that Habib now handled the ball in the 10-yard box.
Yes, and it
it
was still the same. He could have decided I wasn't going to blow it, and they even won 4.
Yeah, it was a goal.
Kudos to him too. The following week, before we began the match, I went to him and I apologized. And it's what makes us a great community of individuals and people. It's what makes the competition great.
Yes.
The act of being able to approach, talk, forgive, everything is just in it.
So if I had to rate the officials, what's your percentage? Referee?
Scaling their performance, I'm just like, they did very well. It will be a very good performance.
So your percentage?
Not
90, 80, 75,
you
30,
want me to
20?
put a
Yes, put
percentage?
percentage.
What would be?
I'm putting you on the spotlight.
What percentage you call a pass mark? I think you should.
The ratings is always like poor, very, very poor, good, very good, and excellent.
Okay, let me help you. In the university grading system,
Yes.
70% is
a
A.
pass mark.
Yeah. Okay, then they have 70. They have above 70 then.
70. So Edu, your highlights of officiating, what moments didn't you enjoy? Because I know you are one that gave us the most problem in Super League 5.2.
Unfortunately, yes. And that's not a position I want to find myself again in. But yes, for me, even going back to look at those moments, I still feel those 2 weeks, where the ref refuses because we are supposed to approach the ref as team managers and request that he goes and checks the VAR. So I requested and he declined, and knowing fully well that the goal you gave my opponent, same match, was turned over, or you changed your decision because of the VAR's intervention. So I needed him to just apply same. But he outrightly said no, But I feel he should have checked, even if at the end of the day he decides to stay with his initial position that it's not a goal. And then the second one, the penalty, both of them I still feel they are, for me, the highlights.
The penalty, which of them now?
The penalty that was awarded against Allen Foxes.
Which one is that?
The one where Ovege handled the ball.
Okay.
So I felt it should have been a penalty, no matter what. Because, the advisory role, the VAR. I mean, the VAR is supposed to play the advisory role, but then we all know that you guys couldn't capture that event. Of course, because the phone went off and you couldn't see. So if you can't see, if you can't go back to replay and get a live review, I mean, making a decision with what you remember you saw, that's the first time. And like we said, maybe we can start from my own and say, okay, it has happened before. But whoever is in my position will still get to challenge that decision. For me, I think if you don't have that image, the ref's decisions will stand, and the ref's decision was a penalty, but he went ahead to change it to no penalty. So for me, those two.
Okay, so last time you rated them 45%.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still on that?
You know, the 45%, I hope is very clear. It's not, like you said, it could be tension, right? And I expect that, yes, there is tension. I'm not expecting, and I don't think they are biased. I've said that before. You know, you talked about CJ. You know, a good friend of mine was my captain in 5.1, and we won the tournament. So it makes sense that my opponents would think, this guy could be biased, you know. Whereas I see him being against me. So, I mean, he was the one that said, I'm not checking the VAR. He was the ref that said it to me. Ordinarily, I should feel these guys against me. So, for the refs, I don't think they are biased. I am convinced that they try as much as they can to be neutral. But, you know, even with you not being biased, you could have calls that you ordinarily, and if you review it, you realize, oh, I shouldn't have done this. So with those two, and for me, who felt or got the other edge of it, I will still have to maybe not give them 45 this time around, or maybe move up to 50%.
Is that a B?
Not a B, you still 45 should be F.
Is a C.
It should be F.
C.
No, but 50,
It's a C.
50, okay, 50 is C.
Is a C.
C.
Yes, is a
It's
C.
just by 1 mark you cross C.
And you know they got that heavy point from not being biased. If I
Yes.
had the sense of them being biased, I'm sure, you know, it will go way below.
Okay, let's talk about, before we go, let's talk about organization now. How did 5.2 go for you guys? Did we improve in the things we did, organization-wise, or we went down, or it was average? What say you?
Okay. Regards organization, I feel in every form we can always get better. The organizing team can always get better. I was giving an example of my friend's composition, Shegun. The competition they're having, like, it's way lower level in caliber, in preparation than hers. Trophies. We've been using the same trophy for the past couple of episodes.
Yeah.
That could be changed. I even feel like every winning team should reserve their trophy. If not, then the medals, the use of medals. Like what we do for these players, we don't know what we like. Some of them live for this competition.
5 weeks of intense.
Yes, and
phone
togetherness.
calls.
We I'm sure every team owner has their own group, WhatsApp group. Those players, regardless, they don't want to leave the group. Even when we start playing, they don't. When I tell them we want to delete the group soon, I'm sure they will feel some way. But what will never leave them is the medals. So in terms of organization, the organizers have been good, but we can always improve in terms of those. This is a solid improvement. Like this podcast is jumping from 1 to 10 in terms of improvement of it, and it can only just get better.
Because I do you.
A little bit of what Tobi said, yes, because we don't. This is the first time we're having this kind of match analysis and post-match analysis and looking back at what happened, what we could do to improve on what we've done. But I think since it's about us, we also need to look at what we did in 5.1. I felt 5.1 was a bit better in terms of media coverage. So I know people were excited
in the area
when they could,
photography.
Yes.
And also there was a party at the end of the day.
Yes.
The DJ came.
Yes. So I think those are the areas I think we need to go and pick up what we did in 5.1. Aside that, I think
so for the 5.1, It was just the ingenuity of the organizers to bring in the photographers without the team managers knowing.
That's true. That's
the DJ
true.
also
That's
was
true.
sponsored by a player in it. So it wasn't really a communal effort. It was just a personal decision. I know what it took us to bring the photographer, even though you guys at some point started supporting. But this time around, it was not planned. But next time we would surely make sure
we also brought in this a way of incentivizing the fans.
Fans know it was
and
interesting.
It kept our fan base growing.
Yeah.
So that also is a plus.
What would you say about the fans sharing their loyalty? Someone was saying he loves Edu Wolves more than Man U. One even tattooed White Tigers on his arm. When you saw somebody tattooing their name on their arm, I'm sure a feeling came to you.
Yeah, you see, that's the passion of football, the football that we all love, and that's the passion of the round game. Yes. Even me, as I had already won the game. I'd won the tournament where we were doing our trophy round. There was one particular fan I kept seeing at your hand. He's someone that I play with normally. But when he came to me, I'm like, get away from here. You're supporting Chinedu. Just the passion. And he came to me like, he didn't like what I do. I'm like, don't talk. Just easy.
He told me one was even warning him. A fan was telling him.
Yes.
How can you play like this? He was angry that Edu Wolves was.
You are so passionate.
Yes, now you see the Agbo woman on the tree.
Yes.
Jumping number
Goshen.
one. Goshen Tiger fan. You see that number one fan just rocking, and I'm sure the same way we feel on Friday nights.
Yes.
Racking our heads on how we want to go about it. That's how
the fans
too are.
Yes.
Because they know when we want to play the tournaments, they are prepped up. They already know that it's just a 5 week. It's a five weeks of just joy, fun, loving, and everything for them.
True. I had in the 4th week, I had a fan come to me. He thought we were playing first, so he saw me driving a bit late. He kept saying, "You are late. You're supposed to be playing." I said, "Calm down. We are not playing the first match. We're not playing the second match. We're playing the third match." So he waited a while and he saw the boys walking down casually. He kept telling the boys, "You are supposed to be kitted. You are supposed to be kitted."
And listen to tonight. If I'm sure, just the way we are talking about it on an international in cameras now.
Yeah.
Even till next weekend, 2 weeks, in their own bars, in their own, they'll still be talking about what went down.
Yes.
And
let's talk about the team that you felt did not do well in 5.2. Which team disappointed you really? We know we said Lions were the best team on paper. They had the best boys on paper, the quality every department. Yeah. We also saw acquisition of Willie and Henshaw for Allen Foxes. Yeah. In fact, the duo of Willie and Henshaw it's every team's desire. And also, Bassi Sparrows were a team that probably didn't have any superpower, but you had Namaye up front, you had Masala, David also. Looking at all these players, your team, Mike, Andy,
Alfred,
and you also, there's Ephraim, there was Habib, I was Edu, Walid also. Which team? Every team, if you ask me, even though it was not equally balanced, but to some level, every team is balanced in their way. Yeah. What team disappointed you in 5.2?
Yeah, I wouldn't really say disappoint but I would say.
Okay, let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Did not live up to expectation.
Okay, good. I think Bassi held himself on his organizational skills. Yeah. He felt that there was. We know that's what he's good at. He knows how to organize players and put players on points. Yes. Well, I felt he felt he could manage some kind of egos. To me, there are some egos on that field that they're not even manageable. Yeah. They are who they are. Yeah. When in your team, when you have players like the like of Namaye and Hamza.
Wow! Yes.
In the team, like even if you are trying to manage Namaye,
what of Hamza?
Hamza will bring his own up, and now you now have a calm and cool personality like David, but that won't take nonsense, regardless of. Let me play my game, but don't And when you see Namaye chipping into his head, they gave it too. And he's like a coach losing the dressing room. I felt at the end of it. It's not because of the lack of talent in his team.
Yeah.
He just lost the dressing room as a whole. And Ekong, is team captain, tried, mustered up all courage. Like, if he had a group of people that he could, like Willie, if he had all those kind of players around him,
he would have done more.
with the determination and the running of Ekong and all.
Ekong tried, man.
God.
Yes.
It would have been...
Yeah.
So
you, what team failed you?
Okay, so I have two categories. I think the first is Bassi, but
from the
my
selection process, we
disappointment-
felt Bassi didn't have.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. My
The best part.
disappointment with Bassi is from the selection, because we know how
He picks his
he
players.
picks his
but he's
players.
never always had the best players.
No,
And
He has always had. He has always had.
He knows
every
how to
time.
pick them.
He has
he
always
knows-
had the best players. Yes.
Bassi can stay a week before the selection process.
He
a week,
assembles the
he
best.
know who to pick. He
Yes.
knows more than everybody.
So what do you think happened? Because he
That's
picked
what I'm
last.
disa-
Is it
that's
because he picked last?
Did he pick class? He
Yes.
was even
No,
third.
I
He
picked
was before you.
last.
Okay, yeah,
I
he
picked
picked last.
He was before you. You were fourth.
Okay.
Bassi
Bassi was third.
Yes.
Yes. So I think what affected him is he had either a player that he wants to pick first.
That he missed.
He missed it, but couldn't pull himself together
Yeah, to accept the
because
reality.
usually Bassi has all the departments sorted.
Yes.
So if you miss one, you can still go ahead and get those few that are still available. So I felt for me, my disappointment with selection was Bassi. So I felt he didn't pick the players that you would associate with him, right? So, but in terms of performance or not living up, Soso Lions, despite being the strongest, I didn't expect them to go too far, because when people they identify you as a threat, they find a way to withstand your firepower. You know, they need to win, they need to score to get points. I think they had so many draws. They barely lose, but they had
5 points for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so many draws. So
But so Lions had they had 12 draws, the highest
12.
number of draws.
yes.
Yeah, 12.
so-
But they are a team that
They won just 4 matches.
Because
They
people
are so
won't
hard to
allow
beat.
them.
Man,
People
they are
won't
so
allow
hard to
them.
beat.
They won just
They are
4
strong,
matches.
so people won't allow them beat. So you rather sit and defend, because you know the quality they are coming up with.
So that means if they were winning if they were scoring or winning most of their matches,
Of course, they would have.
So the
run.
team with the highest number of victory is actually Goshen White, 8 victories. Edu Wolves 7. Social Lions 4. Sparrows even had more victories than.
who had the least losses?
The least losses is Social Lions 4. So the highest number of victories went to losses went to Bassi Sparrows. They lost 8 matches.
So on the team I felt should have gone ahead to win this tournament that didn't win is Allen Foxes, because there are 2 players I would boast and say if I have them in my team, it's going to be difficult for me not to win the tournament.
Should I guess them?
Not guess. It's,
You already know them. Willie and Henshaw. Did you see what those guys did to our team the last week when we scored?
And they
They brought hell to us.
They also had an assassin in the back. That man of God.
wait,
Yes.
against you people, this week 5?
Yes.
Scores in the match.
In fact, somehow in my mind I said we shouldn't have scored early.
Oh,
We should have scored
that Willie boy,
because
man.
those guys, they had enough time.
Yeah.
I was coming back to defend. Habib kept saying, "Go up there." I said, "Which pass? You can't give me pass when these guys are trying to press us down." So for me, I felt they are the ones that with
I remember the day they played against Social Lions also.
Yeah.
Immediately they scored them. Lion came out. Butter came
You remember they called
They ran riots.
They disturb
those guys, and they have Joe sitting in front of the
Yeah.
defense. You know, and
A man
there's
of God at
Allen
the
up
back.
front. There is Unity. So Allen and Unity can just be there to deceive, because most people pay attention to Henshaw and Willie.
Yeah.
But you know what Allen can do when he gets the ball
Yes.
right. You know what Unity can do.
Yes.
So, I mean, I feel immediately they got Willie, I thought to myself, this is the team that is winning it. But again, it didn't happen.
they were 6 points short of Goshen White Tigers and 5 points short of you.
That's football for you.
if we keep talking about the Super League today, we'll never end it.
Yeah.
We just need
Facts.
to call it quiz today because.
Yeah.
But before we go, let me tell people how the table ended. So our best player, our most valuable player went to Mike of Goshen White Tigers.
Yes.
Congratulations to your player. Also, the best goalkeeper went to Onana of Sosola
Sosola
Lions. Best defender went to Ifeanyi of Sosola Lions. And highest goal scorer went to Tobi and Henshaw. But decided to give Henshaw the prize. That was magnanimous of you, and we celebrated that feat. The best behaved team also went to Lions. They didn't win on the field, but they won outside the field. And champions, as we know, is Goshen White Tigers, and runners-up is Edu. So congratulations, guys. Also, the best ancestor.
Yeah,
Also went
congrats.
You really
These guys
outdid
guys
yourself.
dealt with me.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, guys, it's on that best. Let me give you a rundown of Champions League, of the Super League. So, the first edition, 1.1 was Black Child, 1.2 Black Child, 2.1 also Black Child.
Like one.
Yes. But then it was not as we
Like
could,
won it?
Yes, we won it. We could play.
Under what team?
No, we
had
didn't
his
have. It was not
Okay.
under names like this.
Okay.
One of the episodes, we even did it one day.
Oh, really?
One day, just played one day, but they were still counted as the
Okay.
tournament. But we started playing. We started playing it like this now. When we came to 2.2,
Yeah.
we now said everybody should adopt their names. That was when Passes Sparrows won. Then 3.1, Comrade. Just a first attempt.
Yeah, first
CJ,
attempt.
he just won.
Wow.
Then 3.2, he did not come to defend it.
Yeah.
Then Sparrows still won. Then Sparrows won also in 4.1. Then Edu now came in 4.8. But Edu had been knocking on the door
Yes.
all this while. But because of his internal, Edu has always killed himself in the tournament, in quotes.
But Bassi's 3 wins is not like it was consecutive.
No, it wasn't.
Bro, we won't have allowed you to win consecutively. You won it 3 times.
But I know it's difficult. Of course, I expected
No,
that.
he didn't win it three times.
Three times. That would have been.
Just the way we see Man City. But nobody wants Man City to win
Nobody
consecutively.
So the
Yeah,
gang up
but-
against you was really correct.
But I
See,
understand.
if I come back 6.0,
6.1.
6.1, and peradventure I win it again, trust me, I won't win it 6.2. I'm sure of that. I would.
But if you come this close as I did,
But the thing that he fought, Bashis own that if he wins it, the next time he comes last.
Whenever he wins it,
Yes, except for
he
the one.
comes
If he
last
doesn't win it,
following
if he doesn't
episodes.
win it, he comes last. So Edu's own is that Edu won, and this one he won again, and this one he just lost by whiskers.
He's already found. His pattern of play for that
He
competition.
found his pattern of play.
Yeah.
The thing is that if we leave that pitch, we might leave that pitch very soon. I'm not sure he will find that pattern again. Guys,
It's
left to be seen.
It's left to be seen.
on this note, this podcast comes to an end. If I allow these guys here, we will talk and talk and talk. But we'll still have you guys in some of the subsequent episodes of the podcast.
It's fine.
My name is Ucheya, guys, and did this for the Full Spirit production. And it's your wrap here. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Tobi. Thanks, Edu.
Yeah.
See you some other time, man.
I hope the referees are going to come and hear their
No,
own
they will come.
views and
I've told Chukwemeka
perspectives
and Sige to come, but they will come and sit down here. Even the
too.
fans.
And
They'll
brilliant.
come here too and tell us some, even like I want to see Habib here also.
Okay,
Something.
yeah.
They'll come.
So
All right, guys.
I'm
It's a wrap
my
here.
number one fan too.
Yeah. Number one fan.
Edu was number
And I'm
one
a
fan.
go woman.